Don't get me wrong here, Super Mario 3D World is a really fun game, well, for the most part. It just barely ranks below Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2, and I think it has something to do with how unappealing the combination of 2D Mario with 3D Mario felt to me at first. I don't really hate that, but like any other Mario game, there is a shitload of things in this game that either get on my nerves or leave me frustrated or just make me wonder, why is this even a thing? Now this is going to be like my Mario Galaxy music countdown, since I have so much stuff to talk about here that I couldn't possibly narrow it down to just 10 items. If I tried, there'd be too many items left over that I'd have to use as honorable mentions. Now remember that this is entirely based on my personal opinion, so don't go bugging me about how this should have been lower or something else should have been higher, because even I don't know exactly how I was supposed to order this shit. That said, here's a half-assed countdown of the top 25 things I hate about Super Mario 3D World. Spoiler alert, there is no spoiler alert. Yay. I can only find 2 levels in the whole game where playing in the dark could affect gameplay, but when it does, it's a real nuisance. Yes, I know the new Super Mario Bros. Series has dark lit areas of its own, but those are all 2D levels with not many places for traps. I can understand that. But look at this. I can't see anything. In a 3D level like this, I have to go very slowly to know where to go. Oh, come on! How was I supposed to know that was gonna be there? The light box only shines in the direction I'm facing. What if an enemy is chasing me? I have to turn my back to find out. What if I'm cornered? I'll never find out. Does the fire flower make things any easier? Well, let's see here. You can only shoot 2 at a time, they can only bounce 10 times, they get lost if they fall into the poison swamp. Oh ho ho ho, you forgot all about the poison swamp, didn't you? Where's that invincibility star when you need it? The flagpoles at the end of each level are what turned me away from the game when I first heard about it. Mario 3D Land had the same thing. Like, if you were gonna put flagpoles in a Mario game, you might as well have made it 2D and turned it into a sequel called New Super Mario Bros. U2 featuring Bono or some shit like that. On an unrelated note, when did coin boxes begin to stretch out and occupy 3 regular coin boxes? It's kind of bothersome when I look at it. Back on the subject of flagpoles, there's a level that revolves around one flagpole. All you have to do is touch it. Sound too good to be true? Well, you're right. Besides the fact that you'd have nothing to show for completing the level if it worked otherwise, the flagpole just sprouts wings and flies away from you. And so the chase begins. There, gotcha. Do you realize that it took 28 years for the flagpole to say, fuck it, I'm out of here? I won't be surprised if they start doing this a lot in later Mario games over the next few years. I just hope they don't abuse it. Rosalina. She is a playable character in Mario 3D World, and no, it is not possible to have her stare herself in the face. She's slow as shit, but her spin attack more than makes up for it. She appears in the credits only for 5 seconds, but I can live with that. However, I cannot get used to her jump. The area you get with her depends on how long you hold the jump button. Luigi's jump works the same way, but Luigi can jump high enough to justify the mechanic. Every other character simply takes off when he or she jumps, but why not Rosalina? This mechanic gets really bothersome in the section of the absolute last level in the game where you have to jump once to stomp on the piranha creepers in succession. She doesn't get enough air from jumping off of them, and the spin attack only prepares her up once. After that, it doesn't do shit, you have to touch the ground again in order to reset it. So much for the no power-up run. Stamps are one way your progress through the game is measured. Another way is green stars. There are 3 green stars and a stamp hidden in most every level. But you know what, I'm used to collecting green stars, or at least things that behave like the green stars. I've been collecting them ever since New Super Mario Bros. Sure, the only purpose of the green stars might be to unlock levels and advance the game when needed, but to me the stamps seem like an unnecessary extra put in the game just so people can post them in Miiverse when they get them. I'll be damned if this thing gets in the way of my single player progress. I was able to get used to that in Splatoon, but I'm thinking that won't be the case the next time it happens in a Mario game. The Double Cherry makes its debut in this game, and while it's an interesting concept, overall it just left me frustrated. The Double Cherry makes a clone of your character and puts it in the game alongside the original, and you can have up to 5 copies roaming around at once. You control them all at once as well, but trying to get them all to fit in tight spaces or narrow platforms is borderline asking too much of me. The sad part is that when you find a Double Cherry, there's probably a green star or a stamp out there that requires a certain number of copies to reach it, which is kinda stupid. Unless it involves each copy simultaneously pressing a different switch. That was well played. I'm pretty sure your enemies are faster than ever in this game. Either that, or Mario has never been this slow. I hear you telling me that this is what age does to a guy, but you know what? Never in my days of playing Mario have I ever felt that I was running for my life. Well, unless you count Captain Toad, but he's another story. Thank God these guys can actually jump. So I'm playing through the game, and then an enemy comes up and blocks my path. First off, where the hell did this guy come from? Did he just literally sprout from the ground? I'm confused. Now I know that completing each level unlocks the next one, but you never actually had to face these guys in past games. Why did they decide to make it mandatory here? These aren't even real levels. Neither are the mystery boxes, but they don't block your path. It's so stupid! I hated having to chase around those star bunnies in Mario Galaxy, but somehow they managed to make the rabbits in Mario 3D World even worse. I could swear these bastards are even faster than Mario, and even long jumping towards them doesn't seem to help much because they're so agile they can turn corners faster than I can turn on my turbo boost. Speaking of, even the boost panels are useless. If you step on one, the rabbit speeds up just as quickly. You have to be certain he won't cut a corner when you're about to catch him, or exactly where he'll go if you're certain he's gonna cut a corner in the first place. Most of the time these guys hide green stars, but sometimes you'll come across a whole colony of rabbits where only one of them holds a green star, which results in the worst game of cops and robbers in the history of video games. What's really sad is that they had the nerve to put a rabbit with a green star in the first level! Take it easy, for fuck's sake! I like to take my time when I play through each level. Most of the time I need that time so I can look for secrets. You know that warning jingle the game plays when your timer ticks down to 100 seconds? You want to know what I hear from that? What the game is trying to tell me goes something along the lines of, "Hey Pokey, get off your slow ass and get to the flagpole already." What is the guy running the level late for an important meeting and needs me to get out before he can get going? But when the level starts me out with only 100 seconds, I'm immediately greeted with the warning jingle, and that just puts an unnecessary amount of pressure on me, especially if the level is filled with lava, in which case I already feel the urge to get the fuck out. Oh, but they're not real seconds either. They're Mario seconds. Yeah, for every real-time second, bam, 2 Mario seconds down the shitter. These levels were everywhere in Super Mario 3D Land, but in 3D Land, not only were plus clocks available at your disposal, you could also stomp on enemies to add to your time. Stomping on enemies in Mario 3D World gets you jack shit! These levels are like speedrun comments on a shitload of meth.
Meth way better than hack.
This will annoy you if you try to play through the whole game as just one character, like I did. Scattered throughout the game are these switches. They act like P-switches, right? Well, they only activate if the right character stomps on them. Almost every time you come across one of these, it hides a stamp. I wanted to be able to collect every stamp as Princess Peach, but unfortunately it doesn't come close to happening. Not to mention a lot more of these secrets require the use of certain power-ups, and if you're like me and you've gotten so used to the Super Belt that you take them everywhere you go and expect not to lose it, this is gonna cause some serious frustration. Whoa, am I walking on water? The guys over at Nintendo really committed a heinous crime with the special worlds in Super Mario 3D Land. The regular worlds have to make up the bulk of your journey, and then anything after that has to be visually appealing. Well, I guess Nintendo partially responded to me because after my main adventure in Mario 3D World, I went back to World 1 and discovered that there's more. A lot more, in fact. When you take the shuttle to World Star, you realize this is Mario Galaxy all over again, without the anti-gravity shit, which makes it not Mario Galaxy. Here, you're in space, and the more worlds you unlock, the further into space you go. Which gives me nightmares. It's spooky enough that you can barely see the Sprixie Kingdom by the time you reach World Castle, but in the special worlds, the further I go, the more of a lost in space feel I get. You know how they say that in space, no one can hear you scream? I guess I can say that I remember that feel from Mario Galaxy, but not so much from Mario Galaxy 2, and I think the face chip had something to do with making Mario feel a little more at home. Nice going, Lubba. The special worlds contain the game's hardest stages, and they did a real good job of saving the hardest level in each world for last in an effort to make you think it's the last level in the game. Seriously, take it from Dashi, this game does not fucking end. Back to Mario Galaxy. Being that it's purely 3D when it comes to the style of platforming, in many cases they give you plenty of room for backtracking should you feel the need to take it. Or at least in case you miss a secret of some sort. Just as long as you don't take the launch start right away. They do this by letting you adjust the camera angle 360 degrees in either direction so that it points you where you need to go. In Mario 3D World, however, being that it's a sort of continuation of Mario 3D Land, the camera angles are once again limited, yet again discouraging backtracking, which I don't understand, even if the levels are timed. Is there something back there that they don't want me to see? Was this game staged or something and a Mario and Peach and shit just actors in an elaborate stage play? If they allowed free camera movement in the Captain Toad stages, why didn't they do it in the regular stages? It's so stupid! How do you take a long-ass Mario level and make it much longer than it needs to be? By locking one of the warp boxes and scattering 5 key coins over the stage. Bonus points if it's on a level I already hate because it constantly fucks me over. There's a bunch of levels in this game that start you out with this locked warp box, but it takes me forever to locate them because I'm too busy looking for secrets at the same time. So when I finally unlock it, I expect to end up close to the flagpole, right? But no, such is hardly ever the case. I guess the guys over at Nintendo don't like the mentality that a simple scavenger hunt justifies calling it a day, but damn it, every time I get to that unlocked warp box, I've just about had enough of that level. Now where's my flagpole? This is taking forever. Oh look, another way to make the level longer than it needs to be. I've stated this already, but if I realize I've missed a secret earlier in the stage, I need to be able to backtrack so I can get it, because I do not feel like playing that level again, especially if I have to deal with this shit. It somehow works the other way around as well. Okay, I just found a green star, you can start going a lot faster now. I can catch up, I promise. No! Not that fast! Ah! What? Why are you not dying? Let me take you back to 2007, when I first came across this guy. I guess it's a space alien type Goomba thingy, but it was just as simple as a regular Goomba, with its only offense being this headbutt type attack. One stomp and it was done for. But during the 3 years that came between Mario's first space adventure and his second space adventure, I guess it had learned to spit rocks. Not only that, but it brought its evil cousin, which could spit 2 rocks at a time, but again, all you had to do was stomp on it. This begs the question of why it won't die in this game, no matter how many times you stomp on it. Even Rosa's spin attack doesn't work on it. No, you gotta ground pound on it. And what are those things? They're not rocks. They're fucking cannonballs. Damn bastards. I played through the whole game using the Gamepad, so quite frankly, I should have seen this coming. After all, I did play through Captain Toad first. This game gives me many opportunities to get into a groove, which makes it all the more annoying when stages that don't involve Captain Toad contain gimmicks that require the use of the Gamepad. The reason why I hate hands-on haul, because there's so many doors to open and you can't open them at all unless you touch them on the Gamepad. Do any of these levels actually tell you to get it out before you start them? I can commend New Super Mario Bros. U for making every single level beatable without having to use the Gamepad touchscreen once. And being that New Super Mario Bros. U was the first ever Wii U game that I completed 100%, I was hoping they weren't going to make the Gamepad necessary for Mario's next adventure. But unfortunately, such is not the case. If you want to do an any % run of this game but aren't such a fan of the Gamepad, I think all such levels are skippable, thank God. I hate having to deal with enemies. They are as disruptive as the touchscreen movements in the hands-on haul. Wait, I take that back, they're even more disruptive. Besides the fact that they approach you aggressively, sometimes they can be stacked so high that you can't jump on them. The only way you can kill them is if you have some sort of power-up equipped. If you don't, you're fucked. On a similar note, there can be times when enemies are grouped very closely together. It's a definition of distracting. I need somewhere to run so I can get away from these bastards, but if I can't, I'm forced to jump on them, and that can make it very hard to tell where I am. I'm serious. There is like zero depth perception of this game, which means me losing track of where my guy is can mean the difference between life and death. Not to mention the majority of these enemy crowds show up either in auto-scrollers or when I'm on a switchboard, which is much harder to control in 3D than in 2D. The reason why Parebones and Stinkbees didn't make this list is because by themselves they're not that bad, but in this game they always come in clusterfucks. I know I've touched on the special worlds already, but World Mushroom and World Flower deserve their own spot on this list because besides being ridiculously hard, they contain absolutely no original content whatsoever! Okay, to clarify, I'm fine with playing pretty much the same level under different conditions, but who the hell thought this was such a good idea that it should be the basis for every special world in Mario 3D Land? And I'm sure they got the idea for naming these worlds that way from New Super Mario Bros. 2, but even with how easy that game was, every special world in that game was booming with original levels. As a matter of fact, not one stream that played through New Super Mario Bros. 2 did I say, not this again. I'm guessing the standards for special worlds were set in Super Mario World. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Tubular. What's really depressing is that this dip in originality only seemed to affect the 3D-ish Mario games and only after Mario Galaxy 2. I hope the next Mario platformer is as refreshing as Galaxy 2. And judging by the state of the internet right now, I think I can safely say that it is. I found an 8-bit Luigi sprite.
So fucking what?
8-bit Luigis drive me nuts. They're everywhere in this game, and it seems the entire Mario community is obsessed with finding them. Why? I don't know. Besides, it doesn't really add any relevance to the plot. And it's not like anyone's gonna help you keep track of how many you found, because it could have been made worse if you had to collect them by tapping them on the gamepad. And why did it have to be Luigi in the first place? Why not Bowser? Why not Princess Daisy, who's nowhere to be found in this game? Or a crap ton of the Mario platformers, for that matter? Is finding these sprites supposed to be trending or something? There's a reason why I don't follow stuff that's trending. Everyone is fucking talking about it! Unfortunately, this has led me to get kinda sick of Luigi, and there's a chance it'll also lead me to get sick of Rosalina now that everyone knows she's Luigi's daughter. Yeah, hate father, hate daughter, who would've thunk it? The soundtrack in this game kicks ass, and most of the time the quality of the score being played in a particular level will tell you something about the experience you're in for. Unless it involves Bowser in a low-speed chase in World 1. That's right, you fight Bowser in the very first world, just like in New Super Mario Bros. The score for this battle is amazing, though I can't say the same thing about the battle itself. You chase him around on his Bowser-mobile, which I guess drives itself. He throws kick bombs at you, and all you have to do is kick them back at him enough times and you win. Then you fight him again in World Castle, and that's when I realized that aside from there being many more obstacles to avoid, kicking the kick bombs at him wasn't doing shit. I was stuck on the World Castle boss for a while because it was taking me too long to defeat him. That's when I discovered that I was supposed to kick the Bowser himself and not necessarily the Bowser mobile. I also learned that you can tap the kick bombs on the gamepad to send them back at him in midair, but all that did was send them all over the place. I still don't get why the first battle was a breeze compared to the second battle, but I can never get over how frustrated I got from playing it. There's only one Mario game I've ever played that had 0 underwater levels. But with literally every other Mario game, however, 3D World being no exception, there's that bunch of levels that take place underwater, which I've never really understood considering they're not supposed to be breathing underwater unless they all have super huge lung capacity. That's my best guess. But that's not the point. You wanna know why I hate going underwater? Go ahead, just tell me if your character is ever controlled smoothly underwater. Just tell me if you've ever been able to outswim your enemies. Just tell me how many fucking bloopers in a row you killed before taking a hit. Yeah, you know what that's like. I fucking hate Fuzzies. Besides being a bitch to avoid at times, they pose a blatant distraction when I don't need it. They're always found in the worst possible places, and they are almost always in clusterfucks. I couldn't tell what they were supposed to be. I always thought they were just spiked rocks with faces that kill. They just look like rocks. Or mines, I guess. Speaking of mines, yeah, those levels that remind me of the boos that chase after Princess Peach. Instead, it's an actual auto-scroller that pushes you up, but instead of falling into a bottomless pit, you get eaten up by the Fuzzies. Wow, talk about frightening. Is that how you want to die? Yeah, I thought not. Who is the one boss in any Mario game I've ever played that has the rare combination of disturbing and ridiculously hard? No, not the guy from No More Heroes 2. I've never played that game. That's right, this guy. The jester-type guy with a disturbing enough face that taunts you as soon as you encounter him. Unfortunately, squaring off against this pipsqueak would be way too easy and not nearly as disturbing, so he turns into a blob. That just looks gruesome. And it should be. He's really trying to scare all you colorphobes away from this game, which already has a few circus-themed levels to begin with. Aside from everything else I've said about him, he is hard to defeat. First, he tries to stomp on you. Then he splits into a bunch of smaller blobs while he runs away from you, and he is hard to catch up to. At the same time, just touching the blobs deals you damage. Imagine if a blob caught you and you had to watch a scene where it completely engulfed your guy within itself before killing him. Remember what I said about enemies being almost as fast as you? I'd stock up on power-ups before trying your hand against them. You fight him a total of 3 times, and these battles are not optional either. They're all basically blockades. Your first few showdowns against him are almost easy-ish, but soon after he starts making shockwaves, stomps more frequently, and runs even faster. And I don't even know if playing as a mushroom guy would help. And the cherry on top of this shit cake? After all the trouble of completing 5 rehashed boss battles, who awaits you at the end? Could it be both Histocrats? Nope. Motley fucking Bossblob. You wanna know what I hate about Mario 3D World more than anything else? If you're going to 100% complete this game, you have to beat every level in the game, collect every green star, collect every stamp, jump on top of every flagpole for a gold flag. The game makes you think you're on the right track when you unlock World Crown, since you need everything from before it to unlock it. But after you collected everything in World Crown, you realize you're still 5 stamps short. This is where the bullshit begins. You also have to beat every level as all 5 characters. You can imagine how repetitive that is going to get. Unless you've assembled a team of hardcore Mario players, that means 5 fucking playthroughs! How do I know this? This is what gets you that 5th star in your profile. How exactly do you get it? Collect the last 5 stamps. But how do you get these stamps? They're nowhere to be found in the levels. Guess what? For every character you complete the game as, you get that character stamp. So if Mario beats all the levels, you get the Mario stamp. Captain Toad has his own stamp as well, but at least you can find that in the final Captain Toad stage. When I played through this portion of the game, I was left to question just how little patience I had for video games. I started to get sick of losing lives and power-ups to the point where I'd restart the game if I was about to die, which admittedly was probably making my game longer. I was taking longer than necessary to beat the game just for the sake of having the power-ups to make my life easier, but was that really what I wanted? You know what? I don't give enough of a shit to try it again, even for my eventual Let's Play, but if I ever do, it'll be on my own time, and I'll end up doing the 4-player shortcut that involves me having all characters touch the flagpole at the same time. I have no friends, and I never sync with anyone I play with. The double cherry makes its debut in this game, and while it's an interesting concept, overall it just left me frustrated. What the fuck? Overall it just let me fucking... Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and I know what you're thinking, why am I in a fake British accent now? I have no idea myself, but anyway, I'm honestly taking the latest Mario platformer extremely slowly for reasons beyond comprehension. Mainly because I know I'll never complete it, maybe so I can better take in all the world atmospheres, maybe because I can't bring myself to play it in the first place when there's so many other games I could be playing. Or not. Okay, I can't keep that up any longer, but now that we're at the end of the video, you know what to do. Tell me about anything else in 3D World that drove you nuts in the comment section below. Share this video with your friends, rate it even if you hate it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this every single year. Now excuse me, I'm going to not play Mario Sunshine for the next month. I'll see you around for that. Maybe. Okay, you're probably really busy at the moment, but please check out one of these videos right here. Okay, thanks, bye.